Bob here, Chopper Bob Customs. Big day here. Today is the day we find out what I've forgotten to disconnect from pulling the engine out. If everything goes as planned, we'll get the engine out, get the fuel lines run front to back. The parts are all here for that now. And get the replacement engine, the 383 with fuel injection. We'll get it put in. Chances are it'll probably be tomorrow before I actually get the engine put in, but we've got to start here. So with that, here we go. That's all there is to it. So now I need to store this away and figure out what it's going to take to put fuel lines in this. By the way, one thing I forgot to mention is the owner of this engine has listed it, I believe, on Facebook Marketplace, or will be listing it shortly. He's set on a price. I'm not going to say anything yet because I'm not sure whether he's changed his mind. But like I said, I've got video of this engine running out there on my YouTube channel. He's got video of it running. He's got the specifications for it. If you need an engine to put in a hot rod or a daily cruiser, this one is pretty much ready to go. So be on the lookout for that. I think he's got a good price on it, and I know he needs to get rid of it. So anyway, keep that in mind. The original fuel line was in 3 pieces. There was a union right there, and there was a union right there. And of course, I determined this was 5/16. I was hoping that I could put the 2 3/8 lines in one piece. That's why I did not break the original fuel line into 3 pieces, because I wanted to see what it was like coming out. And basically this is what I would have to make the 1-piece 3/8 fuel line look like going in, and so I don't see any way around not making the original or the 3/8 fuel line in 3 pieces. The only bad thing about it is with 2 lines, 2 unions each line, that makes 4 more places that you can spring a leak. That's one of the things I'm not thrilled about. However, I think the damage that would be done trying to install this back in the car probably is more of a problem than those unions. So, and to that end, when I ordered parts, I did order enough parts to make the fuel line out of 3 pieces, each line out of 3 pieces, just in case I found this out, because I was afraid this was going to be the case with the X-Frame car. Anyway, so with that, I will take a break, and we'll when I come back, I'll be under the car. I don't know whether I can get the camera under there or not, but I'll be making fuel lines. I've got the tank back in the car, and I've gone underneath of there, and I've made a wire form that I hope is going to show me how to bend this almost straight piece of tubing for the gas line. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the bender and approximate where the curve needs to be. Now this first bend will be where it comes from the tank. Braided stainless steel will come to this tube right here. And so the first thing we're doing is roughing it in. It doesn't have to necessarily be perfect, but we want to be able to get it to the point where when we put it underneath of there, we can straighten it a little bit here and there to make it work out okay. You can bend this stuff one way, probably 180 degrees, but when you start trying to bend it back, it'll collapse on you. So if anything, you sneak up on the bend. If you do have to unbend it a little bit, you can get away with a little bit, but you can't get away with a lot. So with that being said, this first bend needs to be about 100 degrees. Even there, it's collapsing on me. How bad is it? Okay. Okay, so this stuff really doesn't bend all that well. I will have to take this and save it for something that I can cut it up and use it for something else. I know what I'll have to do to make this work. I did some testing off camera, and what I found was that tubing bender is just going to put horrible dimples in all of this tubing. So I need to find something different. Either that or I need to get different tubing. And so right now I don't want to get different tubing. So what I've done is I've set up this pulley here that makes, it's about a 3.5 inch radius bend. So I need to have it turned about 105, 110 degrees before it gets to the frame rail at about 18 inches. So what I've done is I've come and I've made a mark of 14. And I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to place that right there. And then I'm going to bend the tube and that puts a pretty decent bend in it. And then I'll take my wire form and see how I'm doing. And you can see that it's probably going to be a little bit long. So the next bend that I make, I'm going to have to phase it a little bit more, but I obviously need to make a little bit more of a bend on this. And so what I'm going to do is I will back up about 1 inch and force the bend around. And now let's see what we got. That's looking a little bit better, but I need to go a few degrees more to get what I need it to do. So I think I'm going to do the same thing. I think I'm going to start the bend back here at about 13 inches. Let's see if I can't. Getting pretty close to the angle that I was looking for, but I'm a little bit long and I need to go a little bit further on the bend. So the going to do the same thing. Going to try and lock it in place, out of phase, and give it a little bit of a pull. A little bit too far, but I'm still a little long. Okay, so the next one is not that severe of a bend, but I'm probably going to have to go back about 3 inches in front of where this bend was going to occur. So let me put a couple marks on this. This and go see how this looks in the frame. This has been a struggle, and I've only got one of the 6 pieces close. So basically, the curves are very nice, but they take up a lot of space. And then figuring out how to clear obstacles becomes. This is for the rear suspension, and basically, what I've got. This runs from the tank up over the shock mount, around the upper control link and to the frame down here, and then this is where the union will be, somewhere along in here, that will join it to the tube. This is probably going to be the pressure line based on where it's going to fit. I've got an idea on what I'm going to do with the return line. Since it's going to run parallel to this for the most part, I think I might be able to build it a little bit quicker. And then there's the 2 lines that run basically alongside of, over the top of the X frame. And then once I get past those 2, the ones that come forward up into the engine compartment should be a lot easier than this, because I don't have as many obstacles to go around. And I don't have a rear end that's leaking gear lube on me and getting all over me. I've actually cleaned up to finish this video up. So at any rate, it's coming along. I haven't shown you every bend. I mean, basically, it's just coming and bending it and then taking it and fitting it and bending it and fitting it. And it's not that interesting to me. Hopefully it's not that interesting to you because you're missing it. At any rate, here, go ahead and like the video, or don't like the video. This one might not be likable. I did get the engine out this time. Comment if you've got a better idea. It's really kind of strange, because when I did the 41, that tubing bent a lot better than the stuff I've been getting lately. I don't know whether the Chinese have forgotten how to make tubing, or whether the stuff that I got for the 41 just flat isn't available anymore. But I was able to use that small tubing bender and put sharp bends in it, and it didn't crinkle or crimp the way that this stuff does. And I've been noticing that on a lot of the tubing I've been getting, that you just can't bend it to sharp radius anymore. If you know where I can get tubing that performs better than this, leave that in the comments. But if nothing else, subscribe, get the notifications. We'd be looking forward to having you be a member of this group. And so subscribe. Until later, Chopper Bob out.